Hello folks, welcome back to Halcyon 6, Starbase Commander. As always, I am Falcon, your host, and there's a new update for the game that just came out as I'm recording this. Unfortunately, let's see. The update date actually came out. I'm recording this about 10 days ahead of when this episode's actually going to come out. And the update just came out sometime in the last few days or something. I'm not entirely sure when. I didn't pay attention to that. But it just came out, basically, as I'm recording this. So it's been out for a little bit, but not a whole lot. There's a number of new changes. I'm going to briefly go over them before we really start anything here. First off, which I may try to show you guys at some point, is you can rebuild ruined facilities. I'm assuming that this also means you can rebuild the ones that started out ruined. Not entirely sure about that. I know you can rebuild the ones that get destroyed if we had lost one of these. But I'm assuming you can also rebuild the ones that started out being destroyed. Not entirely sure. I'm assuming you probably need a fleet there to do it, because it doesn't, as far as I can tell, I can't do anything with it just as it is, so I'm sure I would need to send a fleet to do it. So that's the first change. The second change is something that I complained about, something that I made a special video on even though I wasn't able to showcase the particular problem in that video, as well as, of course, an actual episode where I did showcase the problem, but I was raging really hard about it. And that is the Vorash. They were ridiculously overpowered with their healing capabilities. They were really a little too powerful. I did post about this on the Steam forums, talked a little bit with the developers, and they actually changed it. I wasn't the only one to talk about this, but I was one of only a fairly small number of people, so I hope that my video and stuff where I talked about my suggestions and stuff, I hope they actually looked at that a little bit. But they have changed the capabilities of these things a little bit. First off, it looks like they lowered the healing factor of the immunization thing, so it's no longer necessarily a complete full heal. It's still a hell of a lot of healing, but it's not quite as hardcore as it was before. And it still has a limit, and I think that's the same limit that it had previously. But it does have a cooldown, though, which it did not have before. As well as this warm-up, which is less important. But this is something new that they added, warm-ups. Some of the more powerful abilities, you can't use them immediately. You have to wait a little bit before you can start to use them. I haven't looked to see what precisely that means for us, but at least for the enemy here, they wouldn't be able to use it immediately, and it does have a bit of a cooldown. Recovery, I don't know precisely what that means. Inflicts Vorash Veil. What is that? Is that their heal? Is that their shield thing that they do? That might be their shield thing that they do. And I think they also might have slightly toned back a little bit on the vampire abilities that they had. I don't think that's doing the healing that it was doing before, which is another suggestion that I made, is maybe tone that back a little bit. And I believe that they did. Yeah, it looks like they toned it back. Actually, they toned it back a little bit further than I think I was really expecting them to, which is fine. But I think they did tone it back some, and that's good, because they needed to be toned back. Because it basically came down to, will the enemy use their healing abilities to their full extent, or will they not? And if they do, you're probably boned. If they don't, well, then you're okay, but it shouldn't really be like that. That was a little too hit and miss. So I like that it seems that they have changed that some. They've also reduced the frequency of enemy attacks in the stage of the game that we are in now. The, stage 2, essentially, of the game. The enemy is no longer attacking as often as you're fucking new. Never seen you before. Also, I don't think you could click on ships from this screen before and be able to actually look at them. Oh yeah, mutant things. Those are definitely new. Those were not in the game before. As well as these subtypes. Those were not things before. They have changed stuff a little bit. They have added some more variations, it looks like, which is kind of neat. I don't know precisely what that means, but... Oh, so they have different resistances. Interesting. Very interesting. Huh. Cool. So that's cool. That was not a thing before, so that's something new that they've changed, that I just noticed. Wait, psychic? What does that mean? Does that mean you have... no additional effect that I can see? So I don't know what the psychic part means. Maybe it's an effect of... Maybe it changes what their resistances are and stuff, because that seems to be one of the biggest changes of these, like, subtypes or whatever. They have different resistances based on what they can do. Wow. 100% hull breach, that's... new. Nothing ever had that high of a resistance to anything before. It's interesting. In addition to that, some of those kind of changes that we just saw, the biggest thing that they changed for the player, which I hope to be able to show you guys in a little bit later in this episode, is they made it so you can customize your ships, so you can actually change what abilities your ships have available to you. Okay, so let's have a warm-up. Oh, they put a warm-up on the all-enemy effects, so I will have to change my strategies of how I trigger things. What the hell does recovery even mean? Don't know. Don't know. But yeah, they changed they have warm-ups on some of these abilities now that I used to use, like, right out the gate. It looks like I won't be able to use them now. Not immediately, anyway. Oh shit, even Upload Virus has a cooldown. Or a warm-up, rather. Not cooldown, I meant warm-up. That actually kind of sucks right there. That actually kind of sucks. Because that means you can't sensors offline the whole group. Which is pretty crappy, actually. I also think that they may no longer have... Oh no, there is still a limit. Yeah, there's still a limit on the supers. Okay. Interesting. Some of these changes might take a bit to get used to now, because this means that they have definitely changed up the orders in which you'll be able to do stuff by a lot, actually. I don't entirely know if I agree with adding this warm-up aspect to stuff. We'll have to play around with it and see how I feel. I'm not entirely opposed to it, but I feel like it might be... It may perhaps be a little much. Particularly in an instance like this. Yeah, see, so there is no way to put... There is no way to put sensors offline immediately on the enemy now. Because all of the sensor offline abilities have a warm-up. Huh. What about... That doesn't. And that doesn't. So you can put some abilities on them, but not on others. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure I completely agree with that. With the warm-up change, but anyway, you can customize the ships and you can change what abilities that they have, which we can't do obviously right now because our ships are not at base. But when they are, we'll give it a shot, see what we can do. So our ships are in transit to a couple different battles. We actually are in transit to this over here, which may actually be something I might need to change. Holy shit, this thing's immune to fucking everything. Not immune to hull breach, but... Okay, that might actually be a problem. That might actually be a problem. I do like that they added it, that they added the ability to open these things up and look at the ships before, because I don't think you could do that before. I might be wrong, maybe you could, but I'm pretty sure I tried and there was no way to do it previously, which was not good. Which fleet is this? Oh, okay, this is the, So what all... Yeah, see, we can't do a goddamn thing to start out here. Fuck. Well, I guess the protective field, because you literally can do nothing else right now. Like, all of the abilities that I normally would have used to use just don't work. They just are, like, not doable now. Resisted. Oh, that's also another thing, is it gives you a little more details on what exactly is happening now with, like, status effects and stuff. It'll say that it's ineffective, which means it's completely, like, resistant to it. Like, it has 100%, which you can't. Or it'll say resisted, where you can succeed at doing it. It's just you didn't that particular time. And it actually will tell you when it occurs now. So that's good. That's actually a good change. I like that that is a thing. Because that needed to be a thing. Where the hell is upload virus? There it is. Oh. Okay. It still has a very long warm-up on it. Alright, well. That means there's not a whole hell of a lot I can presently do against these guys. I feel like sending my fleet in like I was doing there. Oh, this has a cooldown on it now? Oh, I don't like that. Huh. Well, I hope that they changed the, like, how tough the enemies are and stuff, if, they have so greatly, they've so greatly changed stuff, because there's cooldowns on even, like, our standard attacks that we used to do all the time now. And that is... I don't know if I like that change. I don't know if I like the cooldown, like, all these cooldown changes and stuff. I don't know. Like, it forces you to change, like, what you'd be doing and stuff, and that's kind of a good thing. See, it said not effective there. It means it won't work, period. Because the guy is... Or, well, no, I guess it still does work, but I guess it tells you that it actually has resistances against it. Maybe not, may not necessarily give you an indication of how serious those resistances are, but will let you know that, yes, you are not going to succeed at that right this second. Yeah, do that, because that'll kill him, and then hopefully halbreach this guy so we can get rid of him. And then we should probably get our group heal working, so that we can be fully healed up. And we do finally have sensors offline on this guy. Let's do this. It's good that we get to experiment a little bit right now with a weaker enemy, because we're about to fight one of the strongest enemies in the game with our other fleet, with new abilities, with changes to the abilities and stuff that I'm not used to, that I'm not expecting, that I frankly wasn't expecting to be quite as serious as they apparently are. So I don't know how well this is going to go. This could actually go really bad. It's good that I have a save before we fight the battle, because I'm actually going to save again here. I'm actually going to have to save again here so that we don't have to fight that particular battle again, because that would be annoying. So I'm gonna make another save here. Yeah, I don't... On one hand, like, this does make it more interesting, so I do approve of the change, overall. Even though I don't like it. I don't entirely like it, but I do kind of approve of it at the end of the day, because it does add some more depth to the combat and stuff that wasn't there before. Which is good. It's just that I think they maybe went a little overboard. But, this was okay. He's fine, I guess. He's fine. There's also this, which gives you a large evasion ability, but obviously eliminates the ability to attack. But that's not necessarily an entirely bad thing when you consider particularly when you consider some of the changes that they've done now. We can't always be sure that you're going to hit these things. Okay, let's try to kill you off fairly quickly here. Yeah, so whatever that attack they were trying to do there is, it just doesn't work against our guys. At least not very well, anyway. Which is good. Totally down for that failing, whatever it was. Let's try and kill this one first, because he's the weakest of the bunch. As far as, like, amount of health and everything goes. So, if we can kill him off first, that would be great. I still feel like some of these abilities are maybe a little too damaging. Because like this, where it puts vulnerable on you. Well, maybe not so much supercharged, but this one, where it puts vulnerable on you. I don't know. It's not necessarily bad. I don't necessarily disagree with these changes. I just feel like maybe they could have done them a little bit differently or something, because I don't know. It's fine. He's fine. Well, I guess just shoot this guy in the face, because we need to try and kill him. Oh good. Actually did a lot more damage than I was expecting. It's a lot more effective than I thought it would be. Alright, so try and do your senses, damn it. What are your resistances? Whoa, 60%. Okay, well. We're probably not going to get you today to suffer that ability then. Wow. Okay. Damn near killed you. And this probably will kill you. Yep. Sure did. Cool. I guess. It's kind of cool, I suppose. Alright, so healing. Because we definitely cannot afford to be going into this next fight with any health lost, because we will be... bad words. We will be bad words if we don't. Let's see. Well, crap. I was gonna try and weapon disrupt you, but you're more or less immune to that. Not entirely, but it's pretty damn close. So... okay, we might be able to get away with this. Might... damn it. Took off the one effect. It's not good. Looking at his... when he's going to go again. Oh, that blew. Oh, he resisted to hull breach, too. Really? Didn't know that. Guess I should have, but I didn't. Alright, well... please, sensors? Good. Now miss. You didn't miss. You didn't miss. Well, shit. I don't actually want to kill you right now. Don't actually want to kill you right this second. I want to try and wait for some of our healing to trigger off here. which I don't know if it's going to. I mean, it should. I guess no. There we go. Alright, so now we can use Harass and just kill you, because Harass still does a stupid amount of damage. I feel like they changed the damage on abilities too. Like they changed around how much damage stuff does. Angrily swears at your fleet seething. Honestly, I think we should retreat here for a second, because they've changed all of our stats and everything, and we need to probably not do this just yet. Probably not do this just yet, because we should probably go back and see if we can modify our ship some to be a little more effective. I actually should probably see if you have any resistances to this. Okay. Now, does this... Okay, so you can see if they have a resistance to it. It's just, you have to really pay attention to it. Apparently you're vulnerable to it. Okay, don't really know why you're vulnerable to it, but I will take it nevertheless. And... what the fuck? Since when did that disable abilities? That's new. I don't know if I like that. Don't know if I like that. They're a little easier to kill, so let's try and kill you off. Just get you done and gone. Because if we can just kill you outright, that will probably be the smarter move. But we have to actually succeed in doing so, and that's not necessarily something that we can do easily. I don't care that it's not going to trigger the effect. I wasn't trying to trigger the effect there. Seriously, what the fuck is this shit? So now I just can't do anything, is what you're telling me. This makes it a lot harder to prioritize targets, because you can't... they have a lot more resistances to things now that they didn't used to before. Which, again, I'm not necessarily entirely opposed to, because it's not necessarily a completely bad thing. It's not super happy about it, but again, not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just not entirely convinced that it's a good thing. Oh, yeah, critical. Interesting. Alright, so... screw you. Screw you, buddy. You're basically going to resist that. You will not resist it, though. Okay, so I kind of like that you actually now have to, like, pay attention to what you're doing a little bit more than you used to. But at the same time, it is a little bit annoying. Make no mistake. It's a little bit on the annoying side that you can't do things quite as easily as you used to be able to. But that's alright, I guess. Yeah, not terribly likely to hit anymore, which is unfortunate, but I suppose. Yeah, they have made it much harder to do things now. Which, again, not necessarily a bad thing. Did you... Is that dead? Is that on Zlar, or is that on this? Well, it looks like it's on Zlar. Okay, so let's see if we can view the system here. No. Okay. Show location. Okay. So... Does that mean we can't do that, then? I'm not entirely opposed to not being able to do it. I'm just wondering if that is in fact what that means or not. Not entirely sure that I like it if you can't do it. Ooh, you are a lot tougher than the other one was. Should we just kill the ones that are positioned at the planets and stuff? I guess, because we can't kill the ones at the portals. They're just not killable. Yes, go over here. You should be able to do this. You should be able to do this. We're getting a little bit of experience with this fleet before we actually go in with our big fleet, which is, I mean, okay, I suppose. I'm pretty sure that the different types just mean that they have different resistances to things. Pretty sure it doesn't necessarily mean that they are, like, more capable than they were before, necessarily, or anything. I think it just means that they're more resistant to shit. I think. Don't quote me on that. Oh, they made Sensors Offline in particular a lot harder to use than it used to be. A lot harder to use than it used to be. Wow. So I can't really rely on this being like a real, like, useful status effect anymore, so I think we're better off now just taking advantage of it. So, oh, does it randomly change when it gets disrupted or something? It must. Which is interesting. That's an aspect I wasn't expecting. Huh. Alright, well, we can probably kill this one off a little bit faster than we can the others. We need to get healing because this is going to do way too much damage. Way too much damage if we don't do something about it. Focus on this guy, I guess. So we need to do something to him. We need him dead, so. Okay. You probably can kill him then with... Let's see, that's really not effective anymore because it's not going to do... It's not going to affect them like it used to be, like a thing. It's just not going to work anymore. Which is interesting. It's definitely an interesting change because that didn't used to be a thing. Again, I don't necessarily disagree. I don't necessarily think these are bad changes because it certainly has made the combat a little more dynamic, a little more interesting. I am just a little concerned that they might have gone a little overboard because some of these enemies might be a little too tough now. But that's alright. Even if that is actually the case, that's okay. Okay, that does a lot of damage. So you actually have to pay more attention to what you're doing now than I used to have to do, which is actually probably a good thing, really, because that means we don't just blow through combat anymore without paying any attention to what we're doing. At the same time, I was hoping to finish this game a little bit faster, fairly quickly here, and now I don't know if we're going to be able to, because they have changed stuff enough now that I'm a little concerned that it may not be possible to finish as quickly as I had intended. Okay, so we can equip 7 abilities. What does adaptive armor do? This damage resistance by 10% and repairs. Okay. Does it have a cooldown? No. Alright, it gives you a repair over time. That's not necessarily bad, that's actually kind of good. A crew panic ability. That might be good. A weapon disruption. Well, no, it's an exploit weapon disruption. Well, the portal cannon, which does hull breach. Okay, so there's still... Okay. So that would give us a sensor's overload that we can use immediately. So I think we should take that as opposed to... Let's unequip everything here for a second, and let's step back and kind of consider. Equipped 1? Oh, does it have a special ability that we can't remove or something? Guess. So the sensors offline is still really useful. We need something that exploits hull breach. Don't think we need... We definitely need the heal. Exploits weapon disruption. Overwhelm core. What does that do? Oh, it doesn't damage over time. Okay. I don't think we take Void Splatter. I think we take Overwhelm core. Because Overwhelm core does more damage. And has a potential exploit. Has a longer cooldown, however, and a little bit of a warm-up. I'm not too terribly concerned about the warm-up in particular, but... Because Void Splatter... Yeah, so we'll take that. Instead of the Void Splatter one. So Torture... does a lot of damage over time. Can exploit weapon disruption. Yeah. Kind of want the system overload. Warp Storm was that group hull breach ability that is pretty good to have. I don't know. I like the abilities that we had before. Just swap out Void Splatter for Overwhelm Core, and then basically everything's still the same. I do still kind of like that, because we have Hull Breach abilities. We still have something that we can inflict crew panic with if we want to go that route, and we still have something that exploits weapon disruption, which we don't have a whole lot of ability to do, so I don't think having like a faster weapon disruption exploit is that useful necessarily. I really would like to have this though, but we don't have anything that we can really get rid of to take that. Well, except maybe... You know what? I don't know that the all enemies one is necessarily that useful anymore, because so many things now have resistance to it, and it has a warm-up and shit, and I don't know. I think we take this instead. That still gives us an ability to do it, but it does more damage, and has a lower cooldown, so we can fire it off faster. I think the group, like the big group all effect things are not necessarily as important, as powerful as they used to be. So maybe we don't bother with those. Maybe we just don't bother anymore. Yeah. You know what? I think we just don't. And having a all allies targetable attack thing might be pretty good. So maybe we don't take Warp Storm either. Because we still have Portal Cannon. Although, no, having something that attacks multiple enemies I have found many times to be useful. So I think we still need something that does that. So okay, we'll stick with that. I think we're going to do the same with you. We're going to pull everything off, and we're going to consider what do we want. We definitely want a Hull Breach. I don't necessarily know that we want a all-enemy Hull Breach. Brace is a taunting thing, and whatever. The cooldown on Deconstruct makes this a lot less useful than it used to be. We should still have the Disable ability, because that's always good. We definitely need the Exploit Engine thing. The extra heal we have found many times to be useful, although a self-heal I don't know about, so particularly because he does have... Oh no, okay. Hold on. Alright, no, because you had the self-heal before. That's what you had previously. But now we can give you this instead, and this is a targetable one, which is automatically better because you can target multiple things with it. So this is considerably more useful. It also does not have a cooldown on it, so that makes it actually way better than that is. So that's a better option. Exploit Crew Panic. We have nothing that does that as it stands, so that might be a good one. Again, a group attack I don't know that we want now. Don't know that we want that anymore. Inflict Vulnerable. Ooh, we need something that does that because we have nothing that inflicts Vulnerable. We haven't had anything that does that in a long time, so we've never had something that does that actually, so we should take that. I think we should definitely take that. What is this? Hull Breach, Engines Down. That's pretty good. Like that. Another thing that inflicts Vulnerable. So which one's better? This is all enemies. I don't think we go with that just because we know that Vulnerable is not something that everything could be affected by anymore. So I think we go for that. I like that one, so maybe we go with that too. Screw Release Mines. We need something that will exploit Crew Panic. So that does, but that's primarily we're taking that for the disable more than the exploit ability. Exploit and Invulnerable. The fact that it has a warm up and a cooldown means I don't think we do that one. So I think we take this one instead. So that gives us a more reliable Crew Panic exploit ability. We have the Flak Barrage, which is our Engines Down one. We should probably take... We have two more abilities we can take. So we should take this one, because I like this. Because I like the damage over time that it does. And we should take some sort of all enemies attack. Probably acid bombs because of the damage over time and the Hull Breach ability. Because right as it stands, Do I even have a whole bridge ability? No, we have that. Actually. Well, see, Deconstruct though has. I don't know. I kind of want both of these, but we can't take both of them. So we need a damage. We need an all damage, an all group attack, and we should definitely have the extra heal. So that's important. Maybe we go with that. Maybe we go with that. It's not a bad combo. So all right, take all these off to start with. So we need something now that'll exploit vulnerable because we have the ability to do that. We definitely want engines down, crippling shot. A reliable weapon disruption. Not necessarily opposed to that because we do have. Oh, actually, we only have that that exploits it though. Maybe we should take off Warp Storm. So then is you only have this that exploits weapon disruption. You have another weapon disruption thing? It's the one that has a short cooldown. Or no cooldown. That one does. See, the science ship is the one that I have the most problems with trying to figure out what I want it to do. Because... sensors offline and weapon disruption ability. Although that's not very good weapon disruption ability. I think I still like Harass, because Harass I know does a lot of damage. Harass has always been a reliable damage ability. That's a good all-group attack. Although, so is this one. That's an Inflict, and this is an Exploit. I think we go with the Inflict one. Because, well, it has a longer cooldown. It's Pulse Smash. Was that an ability that has a capability to inflict? What? Pulsing Energy Mesh. What? I don't get that. Does this... I don't get that. I don't know what that means. See, like, targeting support is fucking useless. I've never used that ability for a goddamn thing, so we definitely don't want that. Exploit vulnerable. We need something that exploits vulnerable. And that's an Inflict. So it does more damage, but I think I'll take... Well, it has a long cooldown, though. Still kind of like the all target engines down. So I think I'm gonna take that. I do like having this one, but we could perhaps be better served by like this one. We need something that exploits or vulnerable. And we need something that can cause So 2 more. 2 more. I've never really used the teleport explosive thing that much, so I'm not really a big fan of that one. Maybe we take a very similar setup to what we originally started with, but we swap out targeted support and teleport for something else. Which we've actually kind of already done. Let's see. All enemies. That does more damage. Trying to decide which of the all damage ones is the best option. We obviously have Strafing Run, which we do want. So I kind of want to take this one, because have 2 that'll inflict different abilities on all enemies. Maybe we'll take that. I think that's a pretty good setup. I think that's a pretty good setup. Now my next question is, with the changes to that, what does the other ships... Like, what does having the other ships do for you now? Because before it was obvious you needed the other ships because they had different abilities, but that's, like, if you can change the abilities now to be whatever the hell you want, what does that do for you? And I wish you could see, like, what precisely it does. This is hard to tell because they have bonuses and stuff on them. So it's hard for me to look at it and be like, oh, this is what is better. Because these ones have upgrades and the other ones don't. Let's go back some to the earlier ones, because I know some of the earlier ones I do have upgrades with all the upgrades, so let's compare, like, the Marksman and the Rogue, maybe? Because I know those were the same. Those are the same type. So one is a little tankier, the other one is a better damage. I don't know. I think that is the case, but like, what precisely does that mean? Is it just like different stats now? Like, what is the point of having the other ship type? And you don't really give us any information on it either, so it's hard to tell. It's hard to know. Yeah, we'll take that. It's hard to know what we want out of it. I don't know. So I can build an opposite cloning chamber if people die. So the last level attained with the help of some crew officers. Got a shit ton of power, so I don't have to worry about power anymore. We can easily do some exploration here if we want. And I think I am going to try to explore the remaining rooms that we don't already have explored. So, let's do that. Let's actually, once you are finished, I might pull you back. And after this battle, actually, I'm going to end the episode. And we will spend some time basically at base trying to recover our ships and stuff and try to repair a little bit. Because as it stands, we have been... Yeah, so you are just completely immune to that. We'll try and kill you off because you're the weakest to the bunch. I should just kill you outright. There we go. Gets rid of these really, really quick. No! You got rid of the all heal. Fuck you. God damn it. Fuck you, game. both very resistant to that, so that's not good. You're very vulnerable to that, though, so... You're, like, extra vulnerable to that. You are extra vulnerable to that. There we go. So yeah, having the different abilities now is actually a little more important than it used to be. Because it used to be you could just be like, whatever, this is the best ability to use in like all instances, but that's clearly no longer the case. Very, very clearly is no longer the case. I have nothing that will exploit. No, this does. That might kill him. Okay. I hate to use a disable on somebody who's just gonna die from it, but whatever, I guess. Ow! That really hurt. Yeah, dick. You are completely immune to that, but that's okay because we needed to do something because we just got hammered. Just got absolutely hammered. Yeah, so it's obvious having a greater variety of effects and stuff is clearly a lot more important now than it used to be. Because it used to be you could just kind of be like, hey, whatever, I'm going to do what I want, and it'll still work because, you know, it doesn't really matter, but that's definitely no longer the case. Which is good. That is a good change. I don't really have much else to do with you, so we're just gonna try and go for it. Wow, you are just bloody immune. What the hell are you weak to? Crew panic? Yeah, so I have no... This is another thing, is you end up in situations like this. I have nothing that he's really weak to right now, so I can't bloody do anything to him. He's just gonna be able to tank everything that I do pretty effectively. Which would not be the case if we had you know, like our other group, which actually has a variety of effects on it that it can do. This fleet does not really have that. This fleet does not really have that, so we are limited in what we are actually capable of accomplishing here. So you just have way the hell too many heals, particularly when two of them are self-heals, which just doesn't work very well. Which is why I set up that other fleet so that wouldn't really have that problem. Because obviously having these multiple self-heals really doesn't do a whole hell of a lot for us. And we have no ability to take advantage of these abilities that we can actually hit them with, and it's just a bad situation all around. So we have a very slim chance of any of our abilities actually doing anything to him. Very slim chance of any of our abilities actually doing anything. Which is not good. It's not good at all. Yeah. So we're gonna retreat this fleet now. They pretty much serve the purpose now, for the most part, at least for the moment anyway. So it's fine. Although we could probably go kill them. Kind of want to send out our new fleet though. You know what? We'll save over. We'll do save real quick, and this is gonna be it for this episode. But we will go after these guys with this fleet next time. Because they should be able to do it, and they need some more experience. So hopefully they can, and then we will send them back to base so that they too can get upgraded. In fact, maybe we should do that first. We'll send them out to do this, but maybe we should send them back to base before we do that, because they obviously need some upgrades. And I will spend the time to fiddle with that off camera, so you guys don't have to go through it again. And we will send the fleet out once more once they are upgraded. But I kind of want to not have... kind of want to not have our fleet as weak as it is right now, because it is not exactly doing super great. So I think it's a good idea. So I will see you in the next one. I'm going to set these ships up with some better mix of abilities, and I will see you in the next episode. So take it easy, have a good day, and bye-bye.